The Colorado River, once mighty and relentless, is now shrinking faster than anyone anticipated. This iconic river has sculpted canyons, fueled cities, and fed farms across the American Southwest. Today, its water levels are dropping, sparking alarm across states that rely on its life-giving flow. A river that once reached the sea now barely makes it past the border. The dramatic decline isn't just about drought. It's about long-term overuse and climate changes. Generations have tapped the river's water, often pulling more than nature could replenish. Once plentiful snowpacks in the Rockies are melting earlier and faster than in decades past. That snowmelt feeds the Colorado, and it's arriving too soon and disappearing too quickly. Early snowmelt doesn't linger in the river. It evaporates or runs off before it can be used. The region's rising temperatures are drying out the soil before water ever reaches the river. Farmers dependent on the river are now struggling to irrigate once thriving crops. Communities that boomed thanks to the river's bounty are now scrambling to conserve water. Cities have begun limiting residential water use, mandating cuts and conservation measures. Massive reservoirs that store the river's water are hitting dangerously low levels. Lake Mead and Lake Powell, once full and majestic, now reveal dry, cracked walls and exposed sandbanks. Hydropower plants connected to these reservoirs are also at risk due to falling water lines. If the water drops too low, turbines could stop spinning, cutting off clean electricity. States are battling over water allocations that were set during much wetter periods. The rules that once governed this river may no longer make sense in today's climate. What used to be a dependable flow is now a guessing game filled with political tension. Water deals struck a century ago can't keep pace with today's population and temperature shifts. Some farmers have agreed to fallow fields to save water, but it's not a long-term fix. Others are experimenting with drought-resistant crops to reduce their dependence on irrigation. Cities are embracing recycled wastewater and water-efficient technologies at a record pace. Desalination plants have been discussed, but they're costly, energy-intensive, and not ideal for inland needs. Nature is also feeling the pressure. With river habitats shrinking, species are vanishing from the ecosystem. Fish that once thrived in the swift, cool current now struggle in warmer, shallow streams. Birds that relied on wetlands are finding fewer places to feed, nest, and rest. Even riverside vegetation is changing, with native plants dying off as invasive ones take hold. The river isn't just a resource, it's a lifeline for human and natural communities alike. Tourism along the Colorado is taking a hit as water levels shrink and scenery changes. Rafting trips have been cancelled or rerouted due to dangerously low or unpredictable flows. Indigenous communities who depend on the river for cultural and physical sustenance face deep impacts. Their traditions are tied to the river, and its decline echoes through generations. Some tribes are using their water rights to support restoration and sustainability efforts. Grassroots movements are gaining strength, calling for equitable water use and environmental respect. Despite efforts, emergency measures may soon be needed to prevent system collapse. Water banking is one method where users store water during wet years for use during droughts. Other areas are investing in smart irrigation that only delivers water when crops actually need it. There's even research into cloud seeding, hoping to coax more rain and snow from the skies. But relying on weather manipulation is risky and doesn't address root issues. Conservation remains the most reliable, cost-effective path to long-term river health. Public education campaigns are working to shift how people think about water as a resource. Simple steps like fixing leaks or switching to native plants can add up when practiced widely. Laws are being re-examined to better reflect today's environmental realities. New compacts may redistribute water based on current use, not outdated historical claims. Technological innovation is offering tools, but it can't replace natural water supply. Ultimately, demand must shrink to meet the new limits of a changing river. The Colorado isn't alone. Other rivers across the US face similar pressures, but this one's scale and significance make its fate especially urgent. If this river fails, Entire regions could be left parched and powerless. A shrinking river means shrinking economies, rising costs and growing conflicts. Real estate markets are watching closely as water scarcity begins to influence where people choose to live. Some areas are preparing for long-term water migration, people moving where resources are more secure. Others are doubling down, investing in high-tech water-saving solutions to preserve current communities. The battle over water is quickly becoming one of the century's defining challenges. Environmental leaders argue that balancing human needs with river health is not optional. It's essential. They emphasize that rivers are dynamic and solutions must be flexible and forward-looking. We can't rely on last century's answers for today's vastly different challenges. Public-private partnerships are stepping in, combining innovation, funding, and urgency. Schools are teaching students about water stewardship earlier than ever before. Future generations may inherit a much drier world unless changes are made today. It's not just about saving a river, it's about saving the systems it supports. Food, energy, and shelter are all connected to the health of this one vanishing waterway. The warning signs aren't subtle. They're visible in cracked lake beds and falling water lines. We stand at a crossroads where delay means disaster and action means resilience. The choice to adapt now will decide whether the Colorado River disappears or recovers. Some regions have already seen success with carefully managed water usage and aggressive conservation. Others are struggling, still treating the river like an endless fountain. But the time for pretending it's infinite is over. The data and visuals speak volumes. Nature has its limits, and we've pushed them for too long. If we learn to live within those limits, there's still time to turn this around. That means tough decisions, new habits, and smarter policies that reflect today's water reality. The cost of inaction will be far greater than the cost of adapting early. Water doesn't respect borders, so cooperation is no longer optional. Each state, city, and individual plays a part in either saving or losing this river. Farmers can adopt drip irrigation, homeowners can rethink lawns, and industries can recycle more water. Every drop saved now counts more than ever before. Community resilience starts with awareness, and that's already growing. People are talking, voting, and demanding action from leaders who've ignored water risks for too long. Documentaries, podcasts, and grassroots campaigns are amplifying the urgency of the crisis. Even small behavioral shifts like shorter showers are being recognized as part of the broader solution. The future of the Colorado River isn't written yet, but its current trajectory is unsustainable. Dry forecasts and shrinking snowpacks make it clear the water we have is all we get. We must learn how to stretch it, protect it, and share it more fairly. Otherwise, cities could go dry, crops could fail, and wildlife could vanish forever. This isn't science fiction, it's unfolding right now in real time across the West. The river's decline should be treated as a national emergency, not just a regional inconvenience. It's a wake-up call for how we live, grow, and plan in an era of scarcity. If we can restore balance, the river can still support life for generations to come. But we'll need bold vision and relentless focus. There's no room left for complacency. We've taken the river for granted for too long. Now it's calling for our full attention. No longer invisible or ignored, the Colorado River has become a mirror of our water future. A river reflects the choices of those who depend on it, and our choices must now change. We have the tools, the science, and the urgency. We just need the collective will to act. Nature is resilient, but only if we stop pushing it past the point of no return. The river's fate isn't sealed. It's still unfolding with every policy, every action, every drop. So, what will we do? Watch it dry up or fight to bring it back? The answer will define not just this generation, but everyone that comes after. A disappearing river isn't just an environmental story, it's a human one. And in that story, we still have time to write a better ending, if we act now.